French military leader once said that ability is nothing without opportunity. Welcome to the Art Express, the opportunity to express art in its ownness. I am Tolokwe Labidi. Today's show promises to be more interesting and enlightening, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. OMG 234 presents Oliver Enwonwu's A Continued Legacy. Now, the exhibition features new artworks by Oliver Enwonwu, as well as works by his father, the pioneer African modernist artist Ben Enwonwu. Let's take a look.
Okay, I'll just start by just talking about my work. Of course, I'm an artist, a curator and an art historian. I come from a long line of artists. My grandfather was a traditional sculptor of repute in Onitsha, where I'm from. And of course, my father is celebrated as one of Africa's greatest pioneer modernist artists. And so it's three generations of artists, and I'm hoping that I can make good on my background and the achievements. And I'm having a show in May at the Mall Galleries, and these are some of the pieces that I think that might show. Of course, I'm having difficulty, making my final selection. This one, for instance, is one of three in a series, of my mask on the Benin heroine, Idia, and of course, just like we know all over the world, she's being commemorated with this mask, and which has gained even more prominence as the symbol of Festac 77. And she was a great warrior queen, and her son Oba Isige, she was very supportive in expanding the kingdom and making sure that they got good conquest in wars. You can see the symbol of the leopard. I mean, in Benin, the leopard's a symbol of greatness, and I've used elements like that to situate her within that context. So this is my contemporary interpretation of her, and behind you see the plaques, just like in the palace before the sack of the kingdom in 1897, and still today you still see emblems of their history, and that's what African history is all about, a way of preserving our history and those that have achieved and come before us. My paintings and my work in general celebrates black excellence. I'm all for ensuring that black people find their place internationally and on the global scene. And we want to be judged by the merits of what we do, and not necessarily by, the color of our skin, the texture of our hair, or the color of our eyes. And so my work champions that. I was speaking earlier about the series, and this is the second painting in the series. Again, you see Queen Idia, my interpretation of Queen Idia, and how I think, she would look if she lived today. And of course, in the background, you see, she's coming from a past, and I'm celebrating her in a contemporary sense. Well, there's still some more pieces here. This is my series of The Belle of Senegal. I started it in 1998, and I've made many in the same series. So it was first, I got the inspiration from a great African-American historian called Louise Jefferson. And I find that African women have that sway, that sense of flamboyance, and the history of clothes and how, clothes even for the African woman, were a way of asserting herself, especially in pre-colonial times, it was a way of asserting independence, a sense of rebellion, because the African woman in those days were suppressed. And you still see vestiges of that in contemporary society. Lagos, for instance, is a very commercial city, is one of the largest cities in Africa. And every weekend you see women gaily dressed. And for me, that's a way, that Africans have been able to assert themselves through textile, through dance, through fashion. You see a lot of that that sense of community. You have the Owambe parties where, people dress the same way, and families dress the same way. There's a sense of bringing people together, in unison. Now, this is going to be a very difficult choice. I mentioned earlier that as a series I started way back in 1998, and here for me is the crescendo, in the sense that I think this is my highest achievement within the series. But then again, I'm having a bit of a dilemma trying to select which particular one would actually go into the show. Now, currently, many of my friends and those close to me would prefer the one on the right. They have a feeling that they talk about the fact that the eyes follow you around the room. They like a sense of style, and even if you're not seeing her feet, she's. I think her face is a little, for many, more striking than this one here, where she could be looking just anywhere, but her eyes don't necessarily follow you around the room. There's more virtuoso brushwork on this one. That's why I thought this might be the one. But then again, there's just something about the eyes in the other woman. This one, sort of documents, the events of the Igbo landing when African slaves were taken to the West, and in rebellion, they decided that they wouldn't be taken into captivity, but they'd rather drown in the water. But the legend has it that these slaves, they didn't exactly drown, but they were taken home. And see, some of the slaves that I have in the foreground there, that they flew into the atmosphere, and they were taken home by a goddess, an African goddess, who was a goddess of the water. But with my own artistic license, I have made her the sun god, which Anyao, which is the Igbo sun god, and the Anyao is a sculpture that my father created in promotion of world peace. It was Nigeria's gift to the United Nations, where it stands still today. It was a promotion of world peace as African countries were gaining independence, beginning with Ghana in 1957. And so for me, in having a conversation with my father, which is the subject of the exhibition we're having in London, as joint exhibition, I've taken the Anyawo, which is easily one of his most famous pieces, by virtue of the fact that it also stands at the United Nations headquarters in New York. I've taken that piece, and it's appearing, I'm borrowing it and it's appearing in some of my works. It's a conversation I'm having with my father as well. This is an interesting one, which might be selected. It's one of a series of 4 paintings that I've painted of the Queen of Ife, Ronke Ademulu. She's now married to the present Oni of Ife. And it's very interesting because it's that sense of continuing conversation. My father painted 3 paintings of our auntie, Tutu Ademulu, and it's one of his most famous works. And then here I am, my father's son, painting Tutu's niece, Ronke, from the royal family, the princess as well. And so it's a continuing conversation, and I think that's what the stuff of the exhibition is made of, that continuing legacy. I mentioned earlier that I come from a line of 3 artists, and 3 generations of artists, from beginning with my grandfather to my father, and then to myself. Okay, here we have the Abogomo masquerade from Onitsha, and you see the movement, the dance, which I'm trying to capture. Again, it's something my father popularized, in his paintings. He had been painting masquerades from 1949 to 1994, but here I'm doing it in a different way. You see that my masquerades are sort of elevated, and it adds a sense of an increased spiritual dimension to it. For me, the masquerade is the epitome of art, in the sense that it combines sculpture and the mask, it combines paintings, combines costume, combines performance, dance. And if you look closely, you can imagine that it's dancing to a drum beat. So in many ways, it also embraces music. The masquerades are believed to be our ancestors, and they come out on festive occasions, because in Africa we believe that we exist, in the physical world and the spiritual at the same time, and the masquerades inhabit that space between the physical and the spiritual. And this painting speaks to the transformative nature of the mask. And once the physical person, a man or a woman, adorns a mask, that person is elevated to a higher level straight away, and that person, becomes some sort of spiritual entity, and is representative of our masquerades. And we in Africa, we gave a lot of credence to our ancestral past. We believe that we cannot go forward without embracing our history, our past. And that's really what Africa is all about. It's a continent, that is so rich with experiences from colonialism to the history of military coup d'etats, and yet we've still been able to maintain, our own and keep, to our roots. And then you can see that manifest in our way of life and our values. So this is what I've been trying to say in my art. It's about embracing modernity on our own terms, still remaining true to our roots, and forging our future directions and a sustainable future for our generations that are still yet to come. This portrait is of a friend of mine, but I like this painting, and I asked her to sit for me because of the richness of her black skin. I say a lot about black women in my work, and you can see the rich tones, the texture of her hair. So I thought to make an interesting painting, particularly, as it aligns very well to my discourse.
Welcome back. Also on Gallery, we bring to you Intersectionality in Art exhibition, a celebration of arts, culture, and networking, which showcases the works of 5 renowned local artists and highlights the diversity and richness of local art scene at the opening exhibition of Odama Art Gallery, Lagos.
My name is Osegali Robinson. I'm a curator at this exhibition titled Intersection in Art. Okay, if you look at from the name, intersection is the place where it's a meeting point. So what we're saying here, what this title tries to say is meeting of different kind of arts. So if you look around, you're going to see, some figurative. There's a meta sculpture here, and if you look at that, there's zoomorphic, kind of a god, animal, and human being figuration. So what the title tries to emphasize is a meeting of different kind of arts. So that's the whole idea of the title, as it were. So if you go around, you're going to see different collections of art, medium, as it were, different kind of medium, different style, different approach to art, and then more again, you see the sculptor side of the art. So that's why it's called intersection.
I'm a conscious person, and then I like to create, and I like to create my consciousness. I live in a society that impacts me, and then I have to impact the society too. So, and this is as part of impacting our society that I create my realities of what happens to me in society. These are the results of. The titles differ according to how the ideas come. One of, like the middle one there, is the nominee. So if you're nominated for a task, what is your job description for that task? Because in Nigeria, I see people, when they get a job, they tend to assume the God status in that job. But the job description actually didn't say you are God. So I've had experiences with that regard that drove me to create in that direction.
But I'm trying to portray the like uniqueness in black skin tone. So like trying to promote our race. Mostly I painted black beautiful women. So I want to like tell the audience, like my viewers, that black is bright and black is unique. So that's why I put my figures in a bright background. Nature, I would say nature, my environment, and the people around me. So if I turn left and right, I see black people around me. So that inspires me a lot.
All right, the title of the work behind is Other Side. The Other Side depicts a lady that is backing us, and as she's backing us, is facing someone else. So it's to tell you that in life, when it's odds at your side, it is even at the other side. When it is day at your side or in a country, it is light, or it is night at the other side. So life is up and down. Whenever you are down, know that definitely sometimes life will always look up. So that's what this painting is depicting. And my block shape hat has to do with combining colors together and getting shapes of all kinds together. So that's what this work is all about. My work defines me as someone who is in control. That's how I see my work. Like, anytime I work, I must have already depicted from my mind before bringing it out to life. So before I hit the canvas with my brush or my knife, I make sure that I already understand what I want to depict, the message I want to pass.
Well, we come about the exhibition first and foremost. It's all about passion for what I personally love to do. I'm an art enthusiast, a collector, and at some point I said, okay, I also want to be a gallerist. I want to own a gallery where I can have my own personal work kept for now and for the future. So we said, okay, let's have a collaboration with some artists, Africa art, and showcase them to Nigeria and to the world. So for people like you, delight. Hence, we decided to put this together. We call it intersectionality and art.
As an artist who is highly fused into the creation of or the use of diverse materials in arts, I mean, I work with repurposed materials, so my art literally involves trying to fuse or mix with other forms of art and materials. So I think my work perfectly fits into this home exhibition. And by the way, it takes us into the piece that I have behind me that is titled Tree of Life. You know, yeah, Tree of Life. It's a metaphoric expression of art that involves. I mean, the symbolism of the Tree of Life is taking us back to Earth itself. It's supposed to give us life. It's supposed to give us hope. It's supposed to give us some happiness. It's a place that we've been blessed with. However, there's a lot of human activities that have created a lot of challenges with our planet, you know, and which has become a big problem with the climate situations we have. As an artist who whose works focus a lot on trying to revive the planet, trying to work on renewable energy, try to encourage a repurpose and recycling, you know. So it's a metaphor that tries to draw people's attention.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Art Express on TVC. Now, Didi Museum is delighted to provide a platform for promoting 3 great artists in an exhibition titled Through My Eyes. Let's take a look.
My collection is titled Where Women Gather, and one of the walls to my right is titled Bar. This is what happens when women gather at the bar, what they do, have drinks, and enjoy themselves, talk about other people, and gossip. Then to my right, to my left, there's Standing Your Beauty. Standing Your Beauty talks about how women should accept themselves, accept their bodies as they are, accept their mind that they are also intelligent, that they can relate to, and then also accept the fact that it's not okay for you to change who you are as someone else if it's really going to send you to the hospital.
I just remember those times. I love nature a lot, and then I had neighbors that had aquarium. We didn't have. You know, I've always got fascinated seeing those fishes. You understand, swim, and then I'll be there. At times, I'm just there, looking at the fishes. And at times they come together and it's like they're interacting. And so when I start thinking that, I just told myself, let me do something about fishes. That's how I started this. And I called it aquatic conversation. You know? And at the times the fishes were coming, the streams like they're coming to you. You know, that time they go back. She's like, I'm talking to you. And it was just fun. And also the mind of the artist. You know, goes back and forth. And so when he went back, I just said, oh, those times. So I could show you what those thoughts that came out. And I was telling you, see what I saw. So that's through my eyes. Now I have the fishes and some other sculptures around.
Through our eyes, when we look at it, what we as an artist sees and how we perceive and makes it to the society. So I will talk about the story of the this one here, the restroom, and the other one, inner eyes. What happens in the restroom makes you think sometimes we gossip, sometimes we talk about the gossip about your friends, sometimes we talk about what is happening in your life. And sometimes you can see two ladies making with their makeup and talking as well. And this one in her eyes. The eyes alone speaks a lot of what a woman is doing. One can be looking at you, I she's actually studying you, but inside her is not exactly. She is thinking of how to survive. She's thinking of her family, mother, father, children, husband, single.
It's really interesting the one that is working on when you one of the passion and to have insight into the structure and one of the artists with this structure is showing us the snapping of the natural world. We see that in the sculptures of fishes, butterfly. So I'm going to see
Breaking out of our comfortable routines can take more effort and energy, and change can be scary. But since we know that life is short, shouldn't we all be looking for new possibilities every day to live our best lives? Now, don't you forget to create a masterpiece today. I am Tulokwe Lamidi, signing out.